Terran versus Zerg, where Terran becomes the aggressor and Zerg is the defender, and it comes down to how well the Zerg handles it and transitions out of that early game aggression into just murdering the Terran.
Well, game 1 is live. Let's go ahead and hop into Acheron Wastes for the first map in this best of 3 series. We can see spawning in the top left-hand corner, the blue Zerg player representing Team Root, former North America, or I should say United States champion. His name is Vibe. Giving it the old Adebisi camera twirl.
I'm pretty sure he's got that patented. You want to watch out. He'll have you.
Oh, man.
He's drafting his lawsuit at this very moment.
Licensing issues abound. Of course, Vibe's opponent down in the bottom right-hand corner of Acheron Waste. The red Terran player, he is Drunkenboi.
Well, I think most that people really saw Drunkenboi was in Shoutcraft America, where he actually went 4-0 in his group. He 2-0'd Need, and he 2-0'd Gosu User. So you might want to ask Gosu User how that went for him. He did a pretty good job, and he barely lost to Minigun, actually, in the round of 8. He went 3-2 there. But versus Gosu User, he was super aggressive, very, very much so, and that just seems to be his style in general.
Oh, Vibe. I think I know what you're up to. Sending off a very early drone scout is Vibe, and I suspect that had he seen Command Center first, he would have built a hatchery in Drunkenboi's natural. Now, Drunkenboi is not doing that. He's getting a barracks before command, so Vibe will instead be getting his own hatch first. And then what? We're just going to have to kind of wait and see. Pokes up the ramp, sees the barracks. He's even going to go in and maybe scout the gas, which should hint towards a Reaper opening.
Yeah, that's nice from Vibe. It would have been awesome to see the Cats build there, but the other possibility is just thinking, you know what? I know what Drunkenboi's like. I've run into him a lot on the ladder, so I need to just check that there's no shenanigans going on. And he does so successfully. Now he's going to chase down this SCV from Drunkenboi as well. So far, so standard out of this, we're going to see a Reaper opening from Drunkenboi. And the question is, after that, what's the follow-up? It's certainly not going to be any proxy. We've got Drunkenboi's SCV followed to the ends of the earth here by Vibe. He's not going to let anything silly go down.
Not this time. Looks like Drunkenboi might be considering dropping a factory here. He's still mining a lot of gas. And actually, we see the reactor on the barracks.
I think it is going to be a factory, you know. I think you're right there. This is like it was the really standard build for the longest time when Heart of the Swarm first came out, which was Reaper, expand into reactor, into factory. And it was mostly used for Hellbats, as you might imagine. But it can still be used for Hellions. You see the second SCV is coming out, and the factory is going to come down right about now.
Yep, that's exactly what Drunkenboi is going for here. Meanwhile, the Reaper does pop up into the main base of the Zerg player. Ling's hatch just as he arrives, but with just a little bit of micro, this Reaper is going to be able to deal with those Zerglings. Vibe's going to have to just kind of try and keep drones alive for as long as he can until that Queen pops out. Once she's in play, oh, Spore Crawler.
Nice save.
Getting built there, and an Extractor also going to go down. And now that the Queen's out, Vibe should be safe to carry on.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for Vibe. Nice little reaction time there. Obviously, the Reaper's going to see things. That's what's going to happen in this matchup. Hello, there's a bunker coming down. That's a rather odd place to put it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we like to call this the QXC bunker. This is something that he started experimenting with some time ago, where he builds a bunker just outside of the Zerg natural, kind of at the edge of the creep, and that makes it difficult for Zerg to do things like spread creep or take an early third base. So it's not something that has been adopted by Korean players, but it's still something we see from time to time amongst North Americans, and I'm not going to call it bad. It's definitely proven to be very effective in certain situations.
It's like, hey, it's a bunker. You can salvage it. And if you end up trading for, say, a large amount of Lings, maybe Vibe comes out. Not only does that scout the Ling push out, or something like, say, a Roach push out, but it also trades effectively for those units. And as a result, you end up getting early warning, and you end up weakening the push, and you can do all sorts of nice things. So, yeah, I mean, everything QXC does is generally meticulously planned. Doesn't always work, but he's got good thought behind it. So I don't disagree with this decision at all. It's a little unusual, and that's cool. I like that.
More good scouting from this Reaper. He's going to pop up into the main base, and he's going to say, hey, that's a fast layer, and you have no third base. What are you doing?
He hasn't seen the Baneling nest, though. That's actually snuck all the way in the back of the natural, which is a very odd place to put it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 2-base Muta play here from Vibe, but there are certainly plenty of possibilities with this fast Baneling nest.
Yeah, I wonder if he's just building that defensively. And did that just get scouted? No, he actually missed it, surprisingly enough. The Reaper barely out of range of scouting that Baneling nest. And it could be used defensively against the kind of aggression that Drunkenboi has a tendency to throw out there. But, yeah, there's the Spire coming up. So it will be Mutaling Baneling. Nothing out of the ordinary with that. But can Drunkenboi do any damage with this? That, I suppose, is the biggest question. There's, what, 6 Hellions on the field? Which for Drunkenboi...
Reaper.
Oh, hello.
Gets caught by some Lings. Good control from Vibe. Spire's still unscouted. So Drunkenboi not aware that this is in fact what's coming. He's also going Cloak Banshee, Total Biscuit, so the Mutas are going to be great at chasing down the Banshees.
Certainly.
The Marines and Hellions at the edge of Drunkenboi's creep have successfully, Vibe's creep, have successfully halted any creep spread out into the center of the map, and Vibe now forced to walk his Spinecrawler forward. But with the Banshee there, that's going to be questionable play.
This is going to be really hard to handle. I mean, there's no Banelings, there's certainly no Roaches. He's actually retreating there to the bunker, but he's not able to get into it. Nice around there by Vibe, but a big shot there from the Hellions is able to put down a significant number of Lings there. And the Cloak Banshee comes in and says, you know what, I like Queens, and I want to kill as many of them as possible. I'm going to keep them to myself. He's trying to run away as best he can, but that is certainly not going to help him. One goes down. He gets the inject out just before that, but the Hellions have done decent damage. We're going to have to see a few more Marines come out.
Oh, Queen.
Right now...
Got stuck on a Baneling. That's unfortunate. Third Queen's going to come down, and she will chase out this Banshee. Drunkenboi still seems completely unaware of this this Muta switch that's coming, TB.
Just got to think about... I'm actually kind of surprised, one, that he let that Banshee die. Secondly, that it allowed his bunker to be broken so easily. But thirdly, that he's not preparing for the possibility of Mutas. I mean, you don't sit on Ling Baneling with a lair. You build something else, and it's usually Mutalisks.
Well, Ling's going to run across the map and try to do some work on Drunkenboi's side, but the Hellions are there to deal with it. Banshee in the main base is going to see the Mutas for the first time now, so we should instantly see some turrets going down. A couple more drones may end up falling before the Overseer shows up, but ultimately...
He's an Hellion control here, gotta say. Drunkenboi got a good number of trades for that.
Yeah. 44 SCVs to 46 drones means this is a fairly even game, and Drunkenboi's got his 3rd command center completing, so he's going to have 3 bases quite soon. So
he's combat still, shields, though.
Yeah, he's still playing macro TB, but he's done it in his own aggressive fashion, so it's cool to see that Drunkenboi's maintaining that style that we know him for.
Well, I'm a little concerned about the upgrades right now for Drunkenboi. If a large number of Mutas do come on the field, he has no combat shield, and he's got no +1 yet, and they are pretty far away from finishing. So these Mutas are going to have a pretty good time.
Right now, there are 10 Mutas out on the map. Vibe is certainly capable of adding more. He's getting +1 attack for his Mutas. He's also getting Overlord speed and Baneling speed. This is just going to give him more flexibility to both scout and deal with aggression. Drones also coming for Vibe as he's trying to establish that 3-base economy.
Yeah, we'll see if he can actually do anything with that whatsoever. In they come. Decent control here from Vibe, is able to pull back one of those Mutas before they die the missile turret, but there is another one in there, so that's not really going to do much. A little bit of a wasted stim there, but there's plenty of medevacs, so he doesn't have to worry too much about that. Interestingly enough, Vibe's just gone back to droning and is upgrade heavy and is just not building any more Mutas. He's using the Mutalisks to keep Drunkenboi pinned in his base, which I think against a player like Drunkenboi is the absolute best thing you can do. If you look at the Overlord spread of Vibe, he's saying, I do not want to be Hellion dropped at all, and I'm going to make sure that you can't do that to me.
Yeah, this is going well for Vibe so far. Even dropping creep at the 3rd expand, that's going to deny the orbital landing there for at least a little while longer. Muta's still dancing in and out, but Vibe's not committing with anything. He's just sitting back. He's establishing that economy. He's gone up to 66 drones. He's getting his upgrades. Now 6 more Mutas are on the way. That's going to take Vibe up to 16. Once you see a Zerg player with, 20, 24 Mutas, that's when it starts to become a very difficult thing to deal with. So
yeah. Muta production has resumed and will take him up to 16. Some Banelings coming in as well, and upgrades. One on the way. That was an... Oh, second shot comes in. Thankfully, it just wings him. It hits the Overseer. So that wasn't too bad. That could have been an awful lot worse, considering. The Overseer is also sitting on enough for Contaminate. He might want to consider doing that at some point.
Yeah. Might as well. Meanwhile, Drunkenboi looks like he's just thinking all about playing the bio game. He's getting his His alligator clip upgrade for the Widow Mines. That's called drilling claws, of course. And,
very, very useful if you want to create a basic circuit as well. So just put it together and you can make a light flash. It's wonderful.
+2 attack also on the way for Drunkenboi. So once those Marines have that, they'll be much more capable of trading with these mutas. And Vibe's still just lurking in the shadows just outside of the fog of war here. Waiting for opportunities, looking for openings.
Well, he's not going to find him against 9 Widow Mines and 46 Marines that now do actually have +1. They do have Stim and Combat Shield and plenty of medevac support. So he's not going to really find an opening. This is a good time for him to say, all right, let's start building up my ground forces. And eventually when the Terran pushes out, which would be like now, then I can try and do a little bit of backstabbing.
Yep. And Vibe sees this force. He's morphing a lot of Banelings just outside of Drunkenboi's vision. That's a huge stim, by the way.
Yeah, it is. So he stimmed back, hoping that he could actually draw some of that army onto the Widow Mines, but Vibe is not that silly. And Vibe retreating to the creep, a very sensible thing to do. Doesn't want to fight off creep here, and wants to try and set up some kind of flank. He's actually going all the way up to the high ground.
Uh-oh. Here comes Vibe. Widow Mines are all unburrowed. Now they're going to quickly tunnel into the ground there, knowing that they need to be in position.
Don't know if Vibe can engage that. There's far too many Widow Mines. The Widow Mine hits would have to be really lackluster. Otherwise, Vibe's army would get completely shut down. Vibe's army is not actually that big. He's on 85 drones. So his army supply is currently sitting on only 74 to 120 of the Terran player.
Needs to have some great engagements. Lings want to drag these Widow Mines into Marines. Banelings obviously want to connect with the big clumps. Vibe is adding more and more units. A single Baneling does hit pretty well, but obviously it takes 2 to
it does indeed. Just me and you. And then we've got the upgrades, which are not done yet here for Vibe. So that +2 would be very helpful to him right now. But he's going to have to wait, and Drunkenboi doesn't want to wait. He wants to push forward, but he's having difficulty finding an angle that he's comfortable with. So he's going to drop.
Oh, here comes Vibe, running Lings forward onto the Widow Mines, and a huge Widow Mine shot connects with a lot of the Banelings.
Oh, it's hard to watch. Oh, I play Terran, that's hard to watch. But the drop comes into the third base here, which is... I mean, the Spine Corps has done a decent job of acquitting itself, honestly, and Drunkenboi isn't actually focusing it down because there's a huge amount of Lings and Banelings coming in right now and smashes half of the army of Drunkenboi at the natural ramp right there. The rest managed to escape to the third base, and out goes Vibe, and that was a pretty damn good trade after some heavy initial losses, but unfortunately, Vibe's third just died.
Yep, Vibe loses a critical expansion. He's sending his mutas back home to try and defend it, but in the main base, we see him doing a ton of damage. In the third base, it looks like Drunkenboi is nice and safe.
Both Banelings! Oh, nice shot right there. Very nice. Takes out half the Marine count there. That's some nice play by Vibe. He gutted the economy of his opponent there. He's killed a good amount of workers. That really evened the damage out, but that drop's still going in the main.
Yes, it is. Starting to pick off more and more drones. Mutas finally show up, and they will deal with it. But lots of damage dealt to both players. Drunkenboi falls to 46 SCVs. Vibe's at 72 drones, but as you pointed out, he lost critical expansion. He's still morphing more Banelings off in the shadows. There's a large Terran army of 42 Marines, and that is... Oh, man, that's almost a Marine for every Zergling and Baneling.
Yeah, we need to see some good burrowed Baneling play here, I think, from Vibe. What's interesting to me, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this. Oh, did Vibe just cancel that? Yeah, he did. No, he didn't. Ooh, he's got some Banelings in there, and he kills a decent number, but not a huge number. I mean, he rammed them into the Marauder, so that didn't really help all that much.
Drunkenboi see these Banelings burrow!
Yeah, he missed him. Never mind. You might be able to get something later. You can see that Vibe is selecting them desperate. What do you reckon about this +3 air attack that's coming out here from Vibe?
That's crazy, man. These mutas are going to be great against buildings, and there's the big connection. Marines just disintegrate. And now those mutas could probably... Oh, wow. Widow Mines getting equally convincing shots there. So there's a Widow Mine with 17 kills, another with 19. So both sides...
Out, man.
Both sides taking heavy losses. Wow, there's 22 out, but where are they?
Oh, they just popped, so they're just joining the main flock now, but he's about to... Well, I say about to. It's a 222nd upgrade, but he's working on +3 flyer attack, which is not an upgrade we see all that much in this matchup, maybe against Protoss, but he is going to play to the late game. He's going to play Ling Baneling Muta on Hive Tech here.
Yeah, not opting to go over to Ultras as so many Zerg players often do. These +3 mutas, man, are going to kill turrets so fast. This expansion is absolutely just impossible to defend here. These SCVs are going to be trying to repair. But
Drunkenboi's going across the map. He's going to get into more of a base trade scenario here, and against Mutalisks, that can be a decent idea, but with +3 mutas and that many, I think it's going to kill stuff a little bit faster than he anticipated. He's now starting to push into creep, but he's got a long road ahead of him here.
Yep, Drunkenboi did send some bio back and managed to scare those mutas away, and now he's got this large Terran force knocking at the front door of Vibe. Here come the mutas. Zerglings and Banelings coming in from one side, mutas from the back, but with plus he's not done yet.
Oh, those Widow Mines. The reason you generally don't see this stuff late game from a Zerg player is the threat of Widow Mines can just wipe out a huge amount of mutas very, very quickly. Vibe's got to be very careful with his Overseers. He's got to use them incredibly effectively and make sure his placement is right. So far, he hasn't taken any big Widow Mine hits, but there's still all to play for in this matchup as Drunkenboi has taken a supply lead.
Still 19 mutas out. They gotta be so careful. Vibe's gonna fly over a lot of Marines, but he is gonna pick off these Widow Mines. And Total Biscuit, I don't think there's enough here for Drunkenboi. Now this expansion is once again exposed, and mutas are gonna start working on the planetary. Meanwhile, a big fight on the other side of the map, and the Bailing connections are just excellent.
They're pretty.
Oh
wow! So much for Widow Mines helping him. They didn't. Vibe smashes that army completely. And it's still working with his Mutalisks over the other side of the map. He doesn't have that many of them, but the problem is that there are still a few units in Medivacs that are killing off bases. Vibe is about to lose his 5th here, and the Hive is under threat.
Yes, sir. Drops in 2 locations. Both players scrambling for stability. Vibe does pick off this planetary. The 4th expansion of Drunkenboi, a very important base, means that he's now effectively mining on just a single base. Of course, the same can very nearly be said for Vibe. He does still have money at his 3rd. He does still have money at his 4th, but his main and his natural have been mined out. Drops still active, but Vibe's doing a pretty good job of defending. Total Biscuit, I think Vibe might have stabilized. Oh, man, but here comes...
I think you're right. I think you're right. 60 drones.
One more big push as 3-3 is finished. If Vibe can defend this, I think he's got this in the bag, but... it's not going to be a cakewalk.
This entire series have just been fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing if he can nail yet another. Comes up with the mutas, and wow, that's what happens to missile turrets with +3 mutas. They just melt completely.
Yep. Drunkenboi's last mining expansion, and it is going to be shut down. Very well played here by Vibe, constantly punishing Drunkenboi for being out of position. Now these mutas, they are going to fight these Marines.
There's enough. It's a bit risky. The Widow Mines!
Oh,
that was a big hit. But he wants to go all in with that. He just wants to destroy all of those Marines. And even though these guys are unarmored and going up against 3-3 Marines, they still do enough damage and there's still enough of them. So the economy of Drunkenboi is now devastated. And Drunkenboi is turning tail. He's going back home. He realizes he's going to lose his entire base if he leaves them alone. And that's given Vibe the perfect opportunity to get yet more units on the field and really put the nail in the coffin here. Vibe is so far ahead.
Yep, the Natural Expansion Command Center is now going to be focused on. I don't think you can save this missile turret, Drunkenboi. It's going to fall. That means more SCV kills. Another command center is destined to go down. And there is only a single command center out for Drunkenboi, and Vibe might be able to kill it. Yep.
Oh my, that's going down.
It's a certainty.
No problem whatsoever.
Drunkenboi trying to drop to get back in this, man, but Vibe is just dealing so much economical damage. Drunkenboi is going to be revealed now.
Yeah, he's lost a lot. You know, all of his command centers are down. There's the GG. He realizes it, and rightfully so.
Great play from Vibe.
At that point, I have got to say that was